Hey everybody, I'm Baelin, and this is Off the Tusk. My guest today is Jaster Fett, Varalor of Gurreck clan. Good man, good person, good friend. So let's get Jaster on and see what he's got to say today in a nice Off the Tusk interview. So, Jaster, first off, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, let's kind of get down into the nitty gritty, if you will. And what got you started in the Mercs?
Well, I'd known about the Mercs for about 2 years before I decided to join. And even as early as that, I was never too horribly interested in really getting into high-end cosplay, costume making like that. And it was right around 2016. I was just leaving a smaller Star Wars costume group, and for personal reasons. And shortly thereafter, I was, I kind of felt this sense of emptiness, because I liked the idea of being a part of a bigger community of costumers that went out and helped their respective communities through Star Wars. And considering I'd already had a Mandalorian costume lined up, it made more sense to just go on ahead and make that costume compliant and join the Mercs. And I ended up joining the Mercs. From the time I started getting all my stuff in and modified and joined, it was several months. I think it was close to 6 months before I submitted my applications and got approved.
Now, you are technically a founding member of Gurreck clan, if I do recall. I know there were some prior iterations up here, but when Gurreck formed, you were one of the founding members. So what's it like for you, kind of being one of the old timers of Gurreck clan, seeing how it's grown from, barely meeting the criteria of a clan, with 7 members, to where we're at now, knocking on 20, including a certain accomplishment we just had yesterday?
I never would have thought I would have been involved in such a process. I genuinely believed it was going to be I'm here, I joined, I'm going to do my thing. I never realized, dreamed, or even aspired to be greater than just that. And I, even looking back, I feel like I was more along for the ride, and I offered my 2 cents when asked. But it means more to me that the process happened, that it went through what it did in all of the many iterations this clan's been before I even got here to what it is now. I think I just take greater pride in the fact that that's what it is, that's where it came from to what it is now, rather than actually, feeling like, rather actually taking pride that I partook in that. Because, like I said, I felt like I was along for the ride, and I enjoyed every second of it. And it wasn't without its own share of difficulties, but I wouldn't trade the results it's brought in for the world.
Now, you've been a member since, like you said, since 2016. If you could give yourself, 2016 Jaster, a piece of advice that 2020 Jaster has, what would that be?
I was already starting to learn this after my first kit, but I would still instill it with me. I would still impart this onto past me with greater emphasis, and that's to be patient. And that is, be patient with the process of building, be patient with painting, be patient with everything, be patient with the hurry up and waiting, because that's 70% of building your kit is hurry up and wait. And you gotta, the more you respect the process, the better the quality of your costume will be, because good art can never be rushed. And I've learned a lot about, not worrying about deadlines. It's great to have certain goals, but you don't have to fight tooth or nail to meet that specific deadline for that specific event or that specific convention, because truth be told, you're going to have another event down the road. So you miss this one, so what? There's always the next one. So you don't worry about, don't worry about your own ego. Just worry about doing a good job and taking great pride in the work that you put in, and that all starts with just being patient.
Fair advice. All right, we're going to get into the lightning round. This is one of my favorite parts. So I'm going to ask, don't think, don't wait, just give me an answer. You ready? So I'm not going to lead with my normal of Boba or Django, because we all know which team you're on. So Millennium Falcon, X-Wing.
X-Wing.
You spent too long thinking on that one. BB-8 or R2?
BB-8.
Sail barge or Sarlacc?
Sail barge. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, in that case, the side of the sail barge came first. You gotta go with what impacted you the most, and really.
Yeah. So, and I'm glad you're laughing with that, because one of the things that we all talk about with what we do and what Star Wars is to us is it's spent. I mean, I was a toddler when Star Wars debuted, back before A New Hope or anything else. It was just Star Wars. And I've talked before about what my first Star Wars memory is. What's your first Star Wars memory?
So it was July of 1992. We'd only lived back in Spokane for about 6 months since we moved back from Orlando, Florida, because I spent 3 years of my toddlerhood actually down in Orlando. So we just moved back up to Spokane. It was that summer, and my dad and I were watching The Empire Strikes Back on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was right around the time the Sci-Fi Channel ran its yearly night by night marathon of each film, and we missed A New Hope, but we ended up watching The Empire Strikes Back, which was the first Star Wars movie I'd ever watched. I was 5 years old, and from that point on, I was hooked, and then everything else just kind of snowballed after that. And I ended up getting the original trilogy VHS box set on my 7th birthday, about a year and a half later.
Now, being a part of the Mercs, what would you say has been your favorite trooping event?
Good Lord. They say you never forget your first. My very first event was Rose City Comic-Con in 2016. It was my very first official troop as a member of the Mercs. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I went there with my buddy Kyle from here in Spokane, drove all 6.5 hours from here to Portland. And we were only able to stay for 1 day, but I had an absolute blast at the time of my life. It was how I got to meet our current conclave minister, Cruiser, in person for the first time, who helped me and guided me along in my reapplication process after I had my first initial set of kickbacks. Yeah, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget it. That still stands as probably my most favorite troop of all time, because it was my foray into what was going to be my extended Star Wars family.
Okay, Jaster. So is there any special tidbit, knowledge, information, that nugget of wisdom, from the mind of Jaster that you'd like to share with the foundlings out there?
Take this in many different facets, because this is a multilateral piece of advice that is literally only 2 words long. Stay humble. That can apply to anything. Stay humble by respecting the process of getting approved. Stay humble by pacing yourself. Stay humble by continuing to learn, because even I, in my 4 years with the club, I am still learning new stuff. And my new kit, which will be up and about here hopefully by the end of the summer, will be a testament to that. I mean, when you see the first iteration versus what it's going to look like afterwards, that is a physical manifestation of that piece of advice, is just stay humble. always learn, always accept constructive criticism, always accept to learn new things, accept that there are some things beyond your means, and when they are, learn how you can rise past them. But again, just 2 words: be humble.
I am very grateful that you took the time to join us this evening, and I look forward to seeing you soon and getting some good troops under our belt.
I'm always looking forward to it, Baelin. Thanks for having me.
It's been my pleasure, sir. I'm Baelin Halon, and this has been Off the Tusk.